All right, so the first question from Richard, why would privacy.com in Apple Pay protect your privacy? Apple knows who you are and what you are doing. Thanks. So this is in reference to myself talking about how I've been able to join the beta. It's a public, I didn't get special treatment here, but there was a public beta that privacy.com, which is an aliasing service, so you can generate on-demand cards that you can use really anywhere. But it was mostly used online because they are card numbers that you input into like online forms. So you can actually use privacy.com cards when you're going to businesses in person. You're asking, since Apple knows who you are and what you're doing, why does this matter? So just to start this off, I always avoid the nirvana fallacy, which is pretty much the idea that there has to, since if there's a better solution out there or a more perfect solution, therefore we shouldn't do anything.
Is this guy a retard?
And just because, first off, Apple actually knows very little about Apple Pay payments. You can actually look into this. You can see how the technology works. It's something that's pretty easily verifiable. Apple knows very limited information on every transaction. Apple doesn't want to have that information. But if you distrust Apple, if you're going to start throwing claims that aren't really based on any evidence about how it's proprietary and everything, sure, we'll just go along with that and act like that is what's happening here. Easily verifiable. Apple knows very limited information on every transaction. Apple doesn't want to have that. Even if Apple knows who you are, what you're doing, and all of that, there's still a third party versus first party issue here. And this is what people don't understand about aliasing.
You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Sorry, I'm gonna really send this home. Richard, your question comes from a place of Apple knows who you are and what you're doing, and there's this attitude of then why does it matter? It still matters. You're never gonna have perfect privacy. So I'd personally get that out of your head. Because you're never going to have perfect, there's always going to be one more person who knows who you are and what you're doing. To the extent of which is debatable, and that's going to be different for each person. But just because there's always someone else who knows, limiting the number of people who know is still a goal, and it's still an improvement. We can't be like, oh, well, because then it's an endless game rather than actually like a realistic privacy journey. That's what I'll leave that with.